I was always open to hearing someone's beliefs. I would never disregard your beliefs just because they didn't align with mine. I was open to hearing your perspective as long as you weren't trying to force beliefs on me. And he was big into history like myself. He was big into conspiracy theories. I remember he broke down certain parts of the Holocaust to me, talking about the number of people that was said to be killed, the lack of evidence of that number being accurate, the amount of people they said were being cremated at the time, that they wouldn't be able to cremate that high of a number and that short of an amount of time, even with today's technology.
Snake Net Hustle. Big shout out to SPI, Spotter Low. You know, I'm in the black box, had to come through, tap in, show love one time. Yeah, y'all make sure y'all subscribe. Stay tuned, all that.
Oh, my mama, I had to give me some rest earlier. I did this whole reaction, got to the very end and went to push stop record, and it said, the option said start recording. I'm like, wow, yeah, you need to rest. So I took it down. I ran some errands. I'll come back. I've done a couple of other reactions before I even got back to this one. That's how frustrated I am. I was. But I'm staring at it now, verifying it is recording. Shout out to Brother Blake. This is a double take on this one, man. But you cooked, so this is my second look. And with no further ado, let's see what 1090 Jake, the fake snake, has been up to. I ain't gonna lie. What he's been up to lately, I was not surprised to see Byron Blake have a title that said, I'm not verbatim, but to say something like Jake done claim that he's down with this clown. Not the blood. He was just a blood yesterday, bro. These dudes do the quickest transitions. But with no further ado, like I said, let's see what the fake snake has been up to.
Well, at this point, it's looking like the great white blood is exposing himself. He said, they done with me, I'm done with them. So on today's episode of 1090 Jake Exposed, we're going to take a look into his latest post about Charlie Kirk. I think that the great white blood is trying to tell us something. It's mighty strange. I always talk about how different the dynamics are when he gets in different situations. And it's mighty strange that this particular topic comes up, because I have avoided speaking on this topic partially because I don't like the fact that people are mocking his death. I feel like some of the same people mocking his death say drill music is trash, you know, and that's a
Be fair, Brother Blake, drill music celebrates the genocide of an entire generation of a culture. And the people that are being genocide are not the ones benefiting from it at the top corporately. There are people outside of that culture, slightly different. And I'm not celebrating anyone's death, but I'm not holding anyone in condemnation who is celebrating any particular death. I believe death is just as an equal part of the spectrum of life, the yin and the yang, as life is. Even in the Bible, when it gives a list of things that is a time for, um, killing comes up. And there are many times biblically where even God's chosen people under his guide celebrated victory in war, which included plenty death. Plenty death.
contradiction. If you are going to condemn drill music, you got to feel the same way about just mocking a person who's dying. It don't
You might have to feel the same way about our national anthem that celebrates mass murder as well.
change because you rapping. That's just my opinion on it. So I've strayed away from this topic because I didn't want to get bunched in. You know, I understand a lot of people feel a way towards him, and I'm not saying at all that I support anything that he said. I never liked him. I didn't really much care for his view of things at all. But I don't feel like his death should be mocked. Not just not for me. He didn't do anything to me personally to make me mock his death. With that being said,
As a people, we got to get on code and stop taking everything as individuals all the time, and sometimes realize when an injury to one is an injury to all. When he does it to the least of these, when he does it to you, he's done it to me. Because the only reason it's not me is because it was you. Because the only reason it was you is because you look just like me, and vice versa.
the great white blood must feel the same way, but he decided to express himself a little differently. Now, what got me with this is it's so symbolic and reminiscent of people who have come before 1090 Jake. And it's like they use us to come up, and then at the first opportunity they get, they switch sides. And that's
It's crazy you say that because he's already expressed his ambitions to get down with Mark Wahlberg. And Mark Wahlberg started off as Marky Mark in his public campaign. But before that, he was a racist in Boston that was involved in hate crimes against little black girls trying to walk to elementary school. But yeah, that's shocking you say that.
what we seeing right here. I'm about to show it to y'all, but that's all I see. When he was trying to come up, he was talking like this.
For me, my opinion, he was flat out murdered. And it's tough to watch these videos over and over and over again. You know what I mean? Whether people are getting chased down by a truck and shot, or whether, during a citizen's arrest, or whether the police are just putting their knee on somebody's neck. And there's a lot of different things that I'm confused and conflicted on.
Wow, he going through all this deep about George Floyd and BLM type issues, and I already know from the title he. Now you ride Charlie Kirk nuts. He just on every wave, man.
As far as why they don't immediately get arrested. You know what I mean? Why is it a question? Because if in any other given situation,
Whoa, this is deep because from watching the 1090 Jake Exposed series that Byron Blake does, I became aware that Jake launched his public campaign highly off of fighting the injustices of the law. While he was incarcerated, he said he witnessed a lot of injustices. So when he got out in the free world, he was fighting it. So it seemed like at this point here, he was still in that spirit, upset with the system and the officers and the law. I wonder what made it change.
somebody restrains somebody and put their knee on their neck, when that isn't taught by any law enforcement or anyone else, they would have been.
But what if it was taught by law enforcement? Would you view it different? Because at once upon a time, law enforcement was taught to round up my people, get a noose, and get a tree, and do their thing. So did that make it okay because law enforcement said it was cool then?
Booked on a murder. Like, imagine being at a club and people are fighting and security grabs someone, puts his knee on their neck for the next 7.5 minutes. You know what I mean? What do you think dude's gonna get booked on a body?
Now, if you follow me, you know I've always said that the Great White Blood was more of a this type of guy and more of a this type of guy, especially this type of guy, than he is this type of guy. A whole lot more. But today, he dropped a bombshell on me. Not just me, though, everybody. This was a slap in the face for all of y'all that been telling me, not all of y'all, because some of y'all probably feel like he do, but y'all know who I'm talking to. It's, oh man, leave him alone. He one of the guys. He good guy. He dropped a bombshell. Let me get to it.
Charlie Kirk's death has impacted American history, and I personally am a subscriber of Charlie Kirk's.
We gonna stop it right there for just a moment. Because if you've been following this 1090 Jake Exposed series, then you know we all about contradictions here. If you're not familiar with Charlie Kirk is the same guy who said this about George Floyd.
I saw a clip somewhere that you were trying to get the officer who murdered George Floyd pardoned, and I just want to know what your reasoning was about that.
Well, George Floyd didn't die because of the police officer. He died largely because of a drug overdose.
But he had his knee on his neck. And we all saw the video. But
the knee on the neck is actually an approved police technique that police departments taught Derek Chauvin to use. Do you know that George Floyd was saying, "I couldn't breathe," well before that restraining technique? And
so why'd they use the technique if he already couldn't breathe?
Well, because he was actually resisting arrest, and they had to restrain him. And they restrained him in a way that they were taught to do, which is the knee on the neck technique.
Okay, so when does the technique end? Like when they die? Like he said he couldn't breathe.
No, I mean the technique ends when the individual stops resisting arrest. His cause of death was not asphyxiation, it was drug overdose.
Aside from the obvious contradiction in positions with regard to whether or not this case should have been prosecuted and he should have gone to prison, or whether or not he should have been pardoned, or even, in that position in the first place, there exists the hidden contradiction. And that's, Jake, you flip-flopped. I just got to put it in layman's terms. You flip-flopped.
I ain't gonna lie, y'all probably gonna like this one better because I had paused it a gang of times already. I'm gonna let my boy cook, though. My co-host, Byron, Brother Blake.
Now that you have money, you subscribe to the other side. and to know what I mean by the other side, you have to understand what Charlie Kirk's ideology was. Charlie Kirk had this to say about Martin Luther King.
Where MLK, in my personal opinion and based on every objective analysis, he actually gave us more race focus and less emphasis on character and conduct. Because here we are.
Man, his most quotable statement is, a man should be known not by the color of his skin, but by his character instead. This dude is, just look at his face, speaking on someone as prolific as a Reverend Martin Luther King Jr. He is so arrogant and disrespectful. Talking about our ancestor, y'all. There's not a name amongst us bigger than Martin Luther King Jr. if you're talking about from historically up until now. His name is revered above all our people, bro. And look how he belittles them so easily and willingly.
60 years later, do we talk about race less or more in the last couple of decades? I'm not only blaming MLK for this, but his core driving philosophy was not about a colorblind society. That is a line in one of his speeches. He would actually be closer to a race Marxist, almost akin to a DEI type philosopher.
This is crazy. Colorblind is not an issue that nobody is trying to realize. Dr. Martin Luther King said he had a dream that little white girls and little black girls held hands and played together. Little black boys and little white boys held hands and played together. Those are colors. He was not blind to color whatsoever.
Go deep into his writings, especially later in his life. So, and I think we as conservatives and Christians must
Man, be careful how they throw that word Christians around, because it was Christians that burnt crosses. Christians wore them white sheets on their head. Christians are responsible for the crusades that killed thousands upon thousands. It was Christians that did all the church bombings. Christians did the lynchings, the buck breaking. Christians. So just beware of those hollering Christian.
Consider some of the mythologies and some of the icons and the symbols that we hold up, especially as we try to reorient ourselves in a broken culture.
In other words, we should not be giving MLK any praise. He should not be having a holiday or none of that stuff. Basically, wipe MLK off the map.
And if we don't have MLK to celebrate, who do we have? His name rings bells harder than any white name from his contemporaries. Kennedy, who else do we hear about from back then? MLK is D1, and he wants to eliminate art. That is crazy. Wow. One of the most impactful Americans ever. Hands down.
It's hard to believe that you can go from justice for George Floyd to subscribing to that without having already felt that way. So, in my opinion, you felt that way all along. You just were doing what you needed to do to fit in. This 1090 Jake Exposed series has demonstrated on multiple occasions that you were just trying to fit in. And now that you feel like you've reached a certain height, you feel like it's okay to publicly say, yeah, I'm on the other side. And so this episode of 1090 Jake Exposed is sort of like a call to arms. Because I've been seeing a lot of outrage from my community about this Charlie Kirk thing. And I don't want to make this no race thing at all. But I'm totally against racism to the point where nobody that's
It's cool to be against racism, but you can't be foolish to the point that you're going to not utilize a weapon that you have access to that's being utilized against you. We're against violence. But if someone is trying to stab you and there's a knife available, are you not going to defend yourself with a knife? Racism is effective and it is harmful. So if someone is utilizing it against you over an extended period of time, I think it will be wise to practice some racism ourselves. How you gonna be in a ring where punches are being thrown and you refuse to throw punches because you're nonviolent and you just steady getting your ass kicked? We gotta wake up, man.
black should be supporting him. I gotta just say it. Nobody black, go unsubscribe right now. Because it's one thing to recognize a person.
If you're going to make that decision merely based upon race, bro, then you are motivating us to be racist. And it's okay. Say that. It's time for us to be racist. You're saying based upon race, go unfollow him if you are associated with a certain race. That's a racist statement. And I'm totally comfortable with that. We're out here, everybody's being racist, running this race called life in this capitalistic world, and we the only ones scared to be racist. The fuck is wrong with us? God damn me.
For what they believe in and say, hey, that's his belief. I can't change that. Like I said in the beginning of this video, I'm not going to mock his death. He hasn't done anything wrong to me to that degree. But
we know how bad racism feel, and we such a genuine, kind-hearted people. We just do not want to put it on somebody else. That's crazy, man. Eye for an eye, man. Where do you forget the natural inclination of survival, man? Fuck you mean? America don't go for nan disrespect or invasion or anything of that nature without responding. You don't hear Charlie Kirk defending what Israel is doing on the other side of the world right now by bombing all these women and children, and he talk about what started it, even though if you weigh the magnitude, they know they're not comparable at all. He say they started it, and the response is justified. You'll never win the race that we're in, if you don't get racist. I'm just telling you.
it's another thing to push the ideology. That's a completely different thing. And that's what Jake is doing. He did it in a very subtle way, but he pushed the ideology just by stating, yeah, I'm a personal subscriber to Charlie Kirk.
All these groups are being racist, and we sitting around begging everybody to stop being racist instead of start getting racist ourselves and building with amongst ourselves. I just saw a report. It was 70 friends purchased some land. I believe it was in Georgia. Let me get the little details real quick. I'm proud of these people, man. It says 70. Where was it? Let me find that, man. Okay, I'm gonna have to paraphrase. I thought it was gonna be more readily available, but yeah, I saw something that said like 70 black people, they purchased a certain amount of land because they said instead of trying to find a seat at a table and beg for it, they're gonna create their own, and they're setting out to create their own little community, city, and I salute that, man. That's racist. Being pro, about, dependent upon, and um dedicated to the progress of your race. It has nothing to do with being anti another race unless that race tries to participate, impede upon your program. This is not designed for you. If your last name is Smith, you should be a Smithis. When you go inside your home, the things there, the resources are for your family. Anyone from the outside trying to force themselves to partake within your resources is an outsider, and you don't accept or appreciate that. That's a racist mind state within your family. And there is nothing wrong with being about yours, looking out for yours first, making sure you're stable and secure, and then glancing out at the world and seeing if there may be someone else that may need some help or assistance. Oh, my mama.
That's saying, yeah, if you follow me, then you should follow Charlie Kirk, because that's what I do. So, yeah, I want to see if all of these, I want to see. But I definitely expect to see that subscriber count drop, because I know that we put him there. We put him in that position. We did that, most definitely. He didn't blow up on Charlie Kirk platform or.
Now, that's a different tone. Brother Break usually be saying, now, I'm not saying you shouldn't watch 1090J or Sadie Nash. I would never tell you to do that. I want you to watch it. I just want you to be aware of certain things. So now that he's calling a call to action and saying to not watch, yeah, he's pissed off. They got Blake feeling real black. Oh, my.
Doing Republican versus Democrat debates. He blew up talking about hip hop, gang culture, paperwork.
In translation, us, arsh.
Prison. So that's it. I can't even lie to y'all. I'm kind of disgusted because I've been feeling like this all along. I played the clip for y'all when he was talking about
used to, hang out in the South, and we would speak on a lot of different things. I was always open to hearing someone's beliefs. I would never disregard your beliefs just because they didn't align with mine. I was open to hearing your perspective as long as you weren't trying to force beliefs on me. And he was big into history like myself. He was big into conspiracy theories. I remember he broke down certain parts of the Holocaust to me, talking about the number of people that was said to be killed, the lack of evidence of that number being accurate, the amount of people they said were being cremated at the time, that they wouldn't be able to cremate that high of a number and that short of an amount of time, even with today's technology.
But this dude done flipped all the way around. Like today, he really came out of his mouth and said this.
And his death has solidified my choice in getting baptized.
I'll be damned. I want to react just like I didn't hear it. When I first heard this last time, boy, you got to be kidding me. From blood to baptism. Now, I'd have been baptized. I can't count on one hand. It would take both of my hands to count as me telling to be baptized. I'm not knocking the idea of getting baptized, but he got baptized in the footsteps of Charlie Kirk's death. Remember I told you about the martyr concept? That a lot of times people that have an enemy that is very visible and influential, they would rather him carry on than to knock him down because it sparks the martyr effect. And it seems like without fail, many people follow when you think they would be fearful. And he's falling right into that category. But it's such a slap in the face to our community, our culture, because he rode our coattail to notoriety. That's crazy.
Not because of how he died, but because of how he wanted to be remembered.
If everything completely goes away, how do you want to be remembered?
I mean, if I die?
Everything just goes away. How would you, if...
It's crazy. I forgot you want to be remembered because it ain't going to matter. We're going to remember you as the motherfucker that got shot in the neck while you was trying to be sarcastic and flip a question about mass shootings, which are typically done by white male individuals. And you tried to be sarcastic, slick, pompous, condescending and arrogant and say something about black people. And as soon as you got the talking out your neck, you got the leaking out your neck. That's what we shall remember, regardless of how you desire to be remembered. What about the irony in that? And I'm not celebrating. I am observing and stating facts.
You could be associated with one thing. How would you want to be remembered?
I want to be remembered for courage for my faith. That would be the most important thing. The most important thing is my faith in my life.
So yeah, Charlie Kirk wants to be remembered for his faith. That faith has inspired 1090 Jake to go get baptized because I guess he wants the same faith. This dude crazy, bro. But just in case you were on the fence about what that faith is, let me give you a reminder of what Charlie Kirk believes.
It shows they were actually better in the 1940s. It was bad. It was evil. But what happened? Something changed. They committed less crimes.
Maybe they were afraid. I mean, 4,000 black men, women, and children were killed in violent lynch mobs.
That's your explanation. But
racial terror permeated American culture for hundreds of years.
Black America.
Listen how he hears about the atrocities done to black people, and he's not fazed. He speaks so matter of fact, candidly, like it don't matter. And y'all sitting here weeping, whimpering for this muff. Y'all crazy. Y'all whooped. Yeah, I know this can't be the generation that's going to do it because we'll never do it with y'all. Oh, my mama.
You don't think
it has been
that affected
80 years.
The generational psyche of an entire group of people?
No, I'm sure it did. I'm not discounting that. I'm just...
So yeah, for all of y'all that's supporting 1090 Jake and you know, rocking with him like he rocking with y'all, just know that you rocking with that too. That's what he's pushing on the other side of his free time. When he's not using you to watch his content and run his money up, he's over there spending the money with them, hanging around them, talking about how he don't want to come to the hood and he don't care about the hood.
Oh, am I the only one that fucking found success? Well, it's because I did something different. Yeah, exactly. Because y'all are fucking gangbanging and still living with your mother. Yeah. One thing about the projects, bro, no guy owns an apartment in the projects. It's all women. Yeah. So if you're still living in the fucking projects, you're either living off a girl's rent or off your mother's rent, bro. And if you grew up in them projects and you still live there, that means you live with your mother, your grandmother, your aunt, whoever. Why the fuck do I want to live like you? That's why you want to be a crash dummy all your life and you want to just sit outside and drink all. I don't want to celebrate failure. I want to actually succeed. My birthday's coming up in August. I'm flying to fucking Paris, bro. And then from there, I'm going to Rome and I'm going to go all over fucking Italy. Who the fuck else is doing? I don't want to sit in the projects. Oh, he can't come to the hood. I don't want to go to your hood. Fuck that. I'm going over here. I got a passport, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, why the fuck do I want to go over?
But it was justice for George Floyd when you was broke and you needed us to watch your content so you could have the money to go over there. When I hear him say stuff about the hood and the projects, I really feel like he just talking to black people because it's not many white people that's known for living in the projects. I'm just keeping it real. If he just said trailer park, it would have felt more. And I ain't saying all white people live in a trailer park. I'm just saying, y'all know the trailer park is the white man's projects. So when he talking about the projects and being in the hood and gang banging, y'all know exactly who he's talking to. Y'all know exactly who he's talking to. So again, this ain't about race. I ain't being racist. I ain't on here. Y'all, like I say, I ain't mocking Charlie Kirk's death at all. Not for the sake of this video, just because that's not what I'm going to do. That ain't even how I feel. If you follow me off of here, then you know I've already spoken how I feel. I feel like the same club promoters that say they can't play my music because it's too violent be the same ones on here trolling Charlie Kirk's death. You know, and that's still somebody's son, father, brother, cousin, uncle, you know, and just like when whoever I'm dissing. But it is what it is. With that being said, though, look, man, that subscriber count better at least go down 4,000-5,000. I know I got 4,000-5,000 of y'all that's going to watch this. If you don't go, I know YouTube will probably still put it on your timeline. But, man, go over there and unsubscribe, man. Show that man he ain't got that much pull. Like, this dude think he got a lot of pull. If he think he can say something like this in our face, in our community, in hip-hop, take the race part out of it, because there's a lot of white people that support hip-hop that's not on that Charlie Kirk shit. You think you going to be eating off hip-hop and promoting that type of shit at the same time? Stop it, man. And if y'all let them get away with this, I know something. As many people trolling Charlie Kirk right now, I'm pretty sure at least 100,000 of those people subscribe to 1090 Jake. I'm sure of it. Between No Jumper and all of these other platforms that's posting dude and people trolling him on those platforms, I'm sure at least 100,000 of those people subscribe to 1090 Jake. 50 Cent, I'm calling you out, 50. You better speak on this. You be trolling niggas about every little thing. I know you not finna let this dude get away with promoting.
50 ain't black like that, Blake. Don't hold your breath on me. On my mama, he a different kind of black. Facts.
Promoting Charlie Kirk. I know you ain't. Not and you co-signed him. We gonna see, though. On that tip, though, I'm gonna wrap this one up. Make sure y'all hit that like button. Make sure y'all hit that like button and run this one up all the way in the algorithm. Leave a comment. Let me know what you think, too. You know what I think. Like, comment, subscribe right here, unsubscribe over there. Yeah, it's really like that. All that YouTube stuff. It's your boy Byron Blake. I'm out.
Getting hard trying to live in this land, Lord. I'm sick of paying rent, I wanna be the landlord. Not too many children in my section 8 last night. Lights out, they on section 8. We get constipated from that government cheese. Paying taxes, steady get a government cheese. Don't nothing change no matter who we vote for. So why waste time even going to try to vote for? When you grind so hard, you supposed to see profit. Why we so broke? We supposed to be prophets. We never had a choice on coming to America. I feel something real bad is coming to America. I don't write the mayor, they say I got a right to, but I don't even know where a nigga supposed to write to. I keep my chest up and head to the sky until the day I burn or head to the sky. There was many bad days. Lord, I've had hills to climb and sleepless nights. But when I look around and see what you've done for me, I'll say thank you, Lord, and I won't complain. I'm no devil, I know that I'm God's son, but I still smoke weed with my godson. And even though they say the woman is the backbone, we just wanna see them laying on their backbone. Thumb through the word, but you know what's confusing? Between the experts, it's so much confusion. I want it all, for all that I care about. I want a ball, that's all that I care about. Travel 50 states, broke 48 laws. Ran across a book called 48 Laws. Some say it's bad, some say it's a good book. I say it ain't got nothing on the good book. I ain't tripping on going to the motherland. On the other hand, I like to buy my motherland. What price can we all get peaceful? Stay at war and swear that we peaceful. What's wrong? Can't Can't we all get along? Wanna buy a home, but can't get along. I'm trying to stay focused and write the right rhymes, cause these days everybody write rhymes. My uncle went to the rehab, hooked on morphine. It seems he came out even more fiend. Don't wanna see cuz die or blood bleed. We all lose every time black blood bleed. Holla Hail Mary, a light no candle, but I'm still trying to handle what I can do. I go hard for what I need, so it's ample. Watch me, you won't need no example. Crucial situation, my life in a crisis. Need to trade my life in for crisis. Please forgive me for what I did last night. I don't know, this might be my last night.
Or blacks killing blacks?
People are killing people, Charlie.
Okay, but hold on. What race is killing the other race?
What race is killing what race more? That does not matter.
It does matter because it's a black-on-black problem.
It's a
and blacks need to solve the problem of black-on-black violence.
Is it a black-on-black problem or is it a crime problem?
It's a black-on-black problem that is a crime problem. Because I'll tell you what, if it was a bunch of kids from Deerfield coming in with guns, it would be a white problem.
Wasn't that personal? Big shout out to SPI, Spotter Low. You know, I'm in the black box. Had to come through, tap in, show love one time. Yeah, y'all make sure y'all subscribe. Stay tuned. All that.